Hi, James Wedmore here, and welcome back to my three-part video series showing you how to build your business by design. A simple training to give you a clear plan to create a thriving and profitable business around your content and your expertise. Now, in the first video, I showed you what is possible when you get to create a business by design. A business that serves your needs, your values, and your strengths. A business that says no to the hustle and yes to succeeding on your terms. So thank you for all the great feedback. But if you haven't seen that first video yet, make sure to go back and start there. Pause this video and watch that one right now. Everything I'm about to share with you builds on what we discussed in that first video. And I also invited you to join our private Facebook group so I can support you further on your journey. So have you done that yet? There's a link below this video to request access right now. Okay, so you ready? In this video, I'm simply going to answer how, as in, how do you do it? You see, the problem is most of us are drowning in overwhelm. So many platforms, tools, and software that you're really expected to master. So many strategies that you're expected to use. It's any wonder we ever get anything done at all. Am I right? In fact, you may be watching this video right now and saying, James, this sounds awesome, but I just don't have the time. Well, you're not alone. So I want to take a moment right now and share something with you that a mentor once shared with me. And it's had a profound impact on my focus and my productivity. Because if you're sitting there having an experience of not enough time, well, that shouldn't be the excuse you don't invest in yourself and your business. It should be the biggest reason why you do something about it. Doesn't that make sense? So here we go. This is what I call the bridge analogy. Over on the left, we have you. Looking good, by the way. And you're hanging out on your island. Then, on this other island, we'll call it Results Island, we have everything you want. Money, that new car, the house, vacation, the lifestyle, you name it. All the things that you want, and none of the things that you don't. Now, being the smart and savvy entrepreneur that you are, you set out and you build a bridge to get from where you are to where you want to be. You have an idea to create, let's say, an online course. So you start working on that. You create the content, the resources. You build out the members area. Then you get an email about podcasting and how you can make money with sponsorships. So you do that. You start recording content, editing, uploading, sharing and posting, promoting it. And then, of course, you hear how others are selling products on Amazon.com, and you think, hey, I can do that too. So you get to work. You do the research, pick a niche, find a few products, you get some samples sent to you, and then you decide, wait a second, I can create an app. Software's where it's at. Does this sound like you? Are you working on 3 to 4 to 6 projects at once? Can you see why this becomes a problem? Although you convince yourself that you're very productive, you never completed a single bridge. You never got from Reality Island to Results Island. So you're really no closer to where you wanted to go. And I think the mistake we often make is assuming that the safer route is to hedge our bets, to avoid putting all of our eggs into one basket. It sounds great, but this is the result that we're left with. When we don't have a plan that we trust, a plan that we don't believe in, we don't ever go all in. So here's a better way. Take one bridge, finish it to completion, give it your 100%, get to Results Island, then set up the systems, the software, and the people to maintain that bridge. So you can move on to bridge number 2, number 3, and number 4, one at a time, from start to finish. It makes sense, right? But it's not so easy when you don't really know what to do or what to focus on. So to follow Albert Einstein's advice, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Because of that, I decided to create a framework that allows you to focus on the essential how-tos of building your online business without getting distracted by the latest shiny object or tantalizing promise. This is the BBD pyramid. This is the result of not only 8 years of my own in the trenches experience, but also the work I've done with coaching clients and students in all sorts of different niches. Clients like Hillary Rushford, a fashion and style blogger who went from stressed and burnt out to making over $160,000 in the first month we worked together. Then she went on to 5x her business and hit the $1 million mark in just 9 months. Or there's Pam Sterling from Coaches on Fire, who was able to take the launch equation that I'll reveal in video number 3 to double her business. And Eric Solomon, a student of Business by Design, who started a new venture after going through my program and has booked nearly $100,000 in new business in less than 12 weeks. Each of these entrepreneurs are very different. Their strengths, personalities, their industries, they're all unique. I didn't give them the same cookie cutter model that they had to mold themselves into. I simply shared a framework that gave them the creativity and the freedom to utilize their strengths, their personality, and their passions. But it still gave the structure that produces that focus, that clarity, and the confidence to execute. So I went to work to create something that I could apply to all content creators and online influencers like yourself, no matter what niche you're in, what your strengths are, or what goals you have. So here is that framework. We'll start at the apex and the most important piece of the pyramid, results. You see, results is what you get when you take action. But when you clarify the results that you're creating first, it actually serves to affect the actions you take. So let me explain. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds in unwanted body fat, well, your actions and habits are going to be a lot different than the individual who wants to gain 10 pounds of muscle. You see, results determine which actions to take, and then actions will create your desired results. So we always begin and end with results. Now, in video number 3, we're going to create your results together in a powerful goal-setting exercise that will leave you with a confident plan on what to do. And then, when we open the doors to my signature program, Business by Design, the community and I are there to guide you along the way so you can take the right action and get the right results. Now, looking back at our pyramid, we must form the foundation for creating those results. And that is principles. A principle is simply defined as a fundamental truth. And in a moment, I'll reveal the 10 fundamental truths about online marketing and business, so you can finally have a clear understanding behind what really works, what doesn't, and why. So let's take a look at them right now. The 10 principles are direct response, attraction, context, leadership, storytelling, reciprocity, why now, social agreement, and problem solution. Now, some of these you may already know, and some of these you may think you know, but at the end of the day, if you're not using all of them, you'll need to pay really close attention here. We'll just touch upon these briefly so you're aware of them, but this is something we expand upon in great detail inside Business by Design. So we'll start with number 1, the direct response principle. The direct response principle is defined as this: every action you take must have a specific intended result that can be measured by you. Every promotion, interaction, web page, and communication with your audience must have a call to action that invites your users to take a specific action that you can track or measure. Most business owners run their marketing department like a billboard campaign on the side of a freeway. You spend your hard-earned money or your valuable time putting your logo or your product in front of your audience, you cross your fingers, and you just hope it works. There's no call to action, no result, no metric. So how can you ever know what worked and what didn't? What do you have to measure? Nothing. Sure, Coca-Cola can put their logo on a billboard, but you're not Coca-Cola. When you run from a direct action, direct response mindset, you are in full control. You can measure, track, test, and enhance everything. When you don't do this, you're running blind and in the dark. Just remember, every piece of content, whether it's an email, a YouTube video, a podcast, or a blog post, and every one of your web properties, landing pages, videos, sales pages, etc., they all must have a specific call to action that tell your visitor exactly what to do, why to do it, and how to do it, so that you can move your prospects further down the process, and you can precisely measure the effectiveness of your marketing efforts. Okay, moving on to marketing principle number 2, the attraction principle. The attraction principle is the approach of creating content and value that allows your ideal customer to come to you. Coming from a place of attraction marketing means you don't have to be that pushy, obnoxious, or salesy person just to be successful. Because when you shift from push to pull, you find that selling doesn't only become easier, it becomes more effective. All right, next we have the context principle. Now, the context principle is all about creating the right environment that is conducive to you thriving and getting the results that you're after, and knowing that you are always, always in control of your environment. Now, could you imagine trying to grow a tomato out in the middle of the desert? It wouldn't work too well, would it? Well, that's how most marketers are trying to run their business. Let me explain this. Let's say you're hosting something like a live webinar. Well, the webinar becomes your environment, your context. This is your chance to create an environment of trust. When new attendees are thinking, who is this person? Can I trust them? Well, you can share a bit of who you are and why you're qualified to be teaching, or the results that you've gotten others. And this can immediately squash those concerns. When you know the outcome that you want, you get to create the context or the environment that is most conducive for getting the results that you want. And if this is still a little bit over your head, if it's a little confusing, then I just want you to start and ask yourself one powerful question. What does my ideal customer have to know, experience, or hear in order to make becoming my customer an absolute no-brainer? Okay, principle number 4, the leadership principle. Now, I see a lot of entrepreneurs who struggle because they don't have enough reach, a big enough following, or enough influence. They keep following or trying to follow what all the other thought leaders are doing, but they never seem to have results of their own. Well, that's the problem. Attracting an audience requires being a leader, and being a leader requires the courage to get out of the stands and step into the spotlight and lead. Principle number 5, the storytelling principle. Now, we all know storytelling is powerful, right? It's as if the words "once upon a time" are a Pavlovian response to the brain, causing us to immediately perk up and pay full attention. So a great story can captivate and entertain your audience. But there are 3 unseen intentions and functions of using a story in your marketing that most people completely miss the mark on. So, a great story gives you clarity to your message, credibility to you and your product, and rapport between you and your prospect. Okay, principle number 6, the principle of reciprocity. I first discovered this after reading Dr. Robert Cialdini's infamous book, Influence. The principle of reciprocity has to do with the phenomenon of human nature that says we absolutely hate to be indebted to others. We are literally wired as human beings to return favors. So how does this play out in your marketing? Well, that's simple. Free content. Obviously, you know by now that marketing online includes creating high-value, free content on the internet. But so few people know why. Well, now you do. Your content positions you as the expert. It creates a relationship with your readers. But most importantly, thanks to the law of reciprocity, has others feeling compelled to return the favor. Okay, next we have the why principle. The why principle refers to the fact that no one will find value or relevance or even take action until they see why it is truly beneficial to them. And the benefit can always be traced back to a positive emotion your prospect is looking for or a negative emotion that they're trying to avoid. With every email, blog post, video, or product, you must first be able to address, why does this matter? Why is this relevant and important to your subscribers? Okay, next we have the why now principle. And what I've discovered over the years is that you can say and do everything else right, from attracting your ideal customer to explaining your product to them perfectly, and they'll actually say to themselves, yes, I want this, and they'll want it, yet they still won't buy. Why is that? Well, because they don't have a reason to buy right now. You see, without a reason to take action right now, most of us simply won't. The antidote to this predicament? Scarcity and urgency. How can you use a limited number or a fast approaching deadline to inspire your audience to take action now? Okay, principle number 9 is social agreement. If I introduce you to my imaginary friend, Tim, you're probably going to think I'm crazy. Am I right? But if 4 other people walk into the room right now and say, "Hi, James. Hi, Tim," well, you might start to think that you're the crazy one. And then the President of the United States walks in and gives Tim a fist bump. Well, not only is Tim real, he seems like a pretty cool guy. That's what we call social agreement. It's the principle that states we tend to adopt the beliefs and opinions of the majority, or those similar to us, as what is fact or truth. We as people have to make a ton of decisions on a daily basis, and decision making takes a lot of energy. So if we can avoid it altogether and just follow what the leader does, well, that makes life a heck of a lot easier. That's why we don't tend to like restaurants that are always empty. I mean, heck, that's what Yelp's for, right? Or why people wait in lines out in the freezing cold just so they can get into a nightclub that charges $15 for a beer. And it's also why word of mouth is still one of the most effective forms of marketing today. Or why you'll see testimonials and case studies all over anyone's website or sales page. Because at the end of the day, if enough people say you're awesome, who's to say you're not? And then finally, the PS principle. Problem, solution. As you may have heard in the past, you are in the problem removal business. It is your job to identify and communicate the problem, and then of course, solve it. So making a video on how to use Snapchat isn't really addressing a problem. However, letting people know it's the fastest growing mobile social app and ignoring it could cause you to become outdated and irrelevant to your customers is a problem. Then you can start showing people how to use it. A problem is simply the description of something unwanted. You have a pounding headache? Problem. You're 10 pounds overweight? Problem. When you start with the problem, you talk to the pain and frustration, the negative emotion that your ideal customer is truly going through, but probably trying to block, ignore, or avoid. And at our core, we are motivated by 2 things: seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. However, for most of us, our ego keeps us in survival mode, so we focus more of our efforts on simply just trying to avoid that pain. Therefore, when you address the problem head on, and when you point out how this will get worse if it goes unsolved, you snap people out of their "I'm fine" coma and directly into action. Okay, there you have it. These are the 10 marketing principles. You have direct response, attraction, context, leadership, storytelling, reciprocity, why now, social agreement, and problem solution. Now, that might seem like a lot, but trust me, these are simple concepts and they work. And if you stay with me, you can easily begin to master them so that implementing these principles into your marketing will really feel like second nature. And together, these 10 principles form the foundation for your business, and they also help you to create your strategy. Your strategy becomes your plan of attack. It's the big picture of how you will actually achieve your results. And every strategy, no matter what type of business you run, can be boiled down to TLC. You start by driving traffic, and then you turn your traffic into leads, and then leads into customers. And in video number 3, I'll share with you the simple 6-figure launch equation I use that follows my TLC method, so you can develop a strategy that works for you. And then from strategy comes tactics. Now the difference between strategy and tactics, well, strategy is what they say is done above the shoulders, while tactics done below the shoulders. Tactics becomes the specific steps needed to implement your plan. These are your actions. And then, of course, you have technique. This is what I like to call your swagger or your style. This is the way in which you take action. This is where things like branding, copywriting, and, of course, your uniqueness get to shine through. And this is ultimately what will separate you from anyone else. Because even though these results and these strategies can be replicated, you cannot. And finally, that leads us back to results. So that is it, the BBD pyramid. It's the framework that gives you the focus and understanding so you can develop the right plan that works for you. It works for your industry and your customers. And if you look at this pyramid, you'll notice that tactics or actions are in the middle. Because you see, without the right mindset and fundamental understanding of what works, and without the right plan, taking action, being busy, or simply hustling is useless. Heck, it's just exhausting. So how do you formulate the right plan and take the right steps to grow your business and take it to that next level? Well, stay tuned for video number 3, because coming up, I'm going to help you create some powerful goals in your life and show you how to reverse engineer those goals so you end up with a plan that you can follow and trust. And in the meantime, make sure to join us inside the Facebook group if you haven't already. I'll be there to answer your questions, share additional content, and support you through this entire series. Hop on over to Facebook now and share your goals with me. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in video number 3. Take care.